I mean, to the point that if Diddy gets on a commercial and says that Burger King is overrated, we all think it's, I mean, he actually has a clothing line, but his clothing line has produced French fry cases. The cases at Burger King were actually designed based on some of his artistry. And I thought it was amazing that, if you look at it, it said designed by Sean John on the French fry case. And I thought it's amazing that what has happened that this limited amount of people have more cultural influence than the people that say we have the truth. Wow. So tonight, I just want to give you 5 reasons why I feel hip-hop is telling the truth. And you can take it for what it is. I read a quote by Russell Simmon, who I think is a phenomenal businessman. He's a phenomenal, not only a philanthropist, but he's also a great entrepreneur. He said, the issue with hip-hop is that it was born out of the bowels of a city, out of the bowels of a city's underground. Hip-hop's core ideals are from the underbelly. They're from people who most of their lives have been locked out of a society that now seeks to judge it. He said that the issue with hip-hop is that it's, for all its life, it's been locked out of a society that has now said, I'm going to judge you based on what you say. And the thing that blew me away about that, and I was listening to some things from Dr. Cornel West, and he was talking about Curtis Jackson. We know him more as 50 Cent. And he was saying that we tend to judge the actions of a 50 Cent, but we hold a government totally scot-free of blame from producing a 50 Cent. See, if we really want the 50 Cents of the world to stop manifesting, we need to do something different in the community so that a Curtis Jackson won't have to get shot 9 times. So that a Curtis Jackson won't have to watch his mom get killed at, 9 years old, and then grow up and say, you know what, I'm going to sling dope. So we tend to look at things as a standard. But the problem with setting a standard is you have to, along with the standard, watch this, you have to allow or provide the means to meet that standard. I've eaten at Boston markets, I've eaten at McDonald's, I've also eaten at some restaurants that require you to have a shirt, tie, and a blazer. When I walk in there and they say, I'm sorry, sir, you must have on a blazer. You must, have on a coat. They always have an area where you can go and borrow a coat so that you can gain access to the restaurant. They don't just say, no, you're not dressed right, we're going to send you away. But if we're going to require you to wear something particularly to enter this establishment, then with the conscious decision and the right response would be to provide something so we won't just lose a lot of business. And I think as Christians, we're good at setting standards. Oh, it's got to be holiness. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. But our problem is, exactly, it's holiness for hell. I was born old school Pentecostal, And the problem with that is, along with that standard, we never equip people with the proper tools. We just had more fun pointing out that they weren't like us. We just had more fun saying, you know what, we're better than you because, you're just sleeping around. And for real, I'm not going to go there, but for real, how many of us after being saved have slept around? And the only difference is that there's enough sense on your life to depend on the grace of God, which is available to all who believe. And if they don't believe, then it is a believer's responsibility to inform them so that they can what? Believe. Now, there are 5 reasons I believe hip-hop's telling the truth, and sometimes we lie. Number 1, I believe hip-hop's telling the truth because it was born out of a struggle. Point blank. It was born out of a struggle. And nothing makes you tell the truth more than a struggle. Right. Isn't it amazing how much people get in trouble, but it's not till the trouble really gets bad that they actually tell their parents, they tell somebody, they go to a campus administrator, and many times we wouldn't even understand the truth of where people are coming from if it wasn't for the struggle that they were in. Nothing drives you closer to God. Nothing even drives you to God, in my book, more than you realizing that this struggle is bigger than me. All of us, we tell this lie. We say, we found God. Well, I found God when I was 12. I found God when I was 18. I found God when I was 21. The problem is God was never lost. So you didn't find God. If we were to tell the truth, you tried so many other things. So many abortions, so many this, so many that, so many things. You were worried about HIV being HIV positive, and you said, God, I'm going to get saved because I know if nothing can cleanse me, the blood of Jesus can. And when that test came back negative, you were so excited, and then through a relationship, you decided to stay with God. But all of us came to God out of a struggle. Paul would have never known God if he hadn't got slapped off of a beast on the road to Damascus to crucify and kill more Christians. So I believe that nothing causes truth to come out more than a struggle. And I believe that hip-hop is telling the truth simply because it was born out of a struggle. And their struggle caused the reporters to tell the truth.
Right.
See, if you understand the conception of hip-hop was our reporting agency in the hood. Right. And what it did was when everybody was saying things were wonderful, hip-hop was saying things ain't great. Hip-hop was saying we got pregnant women here that are only 14 years old. Hip-hop was saying there's crack valves on the floor. And what amazes me, my church is on 52nd and Chestnut, which 2 years ago was deemed as the 3rd deadliest block in Philadelphia. When you always got police presence, when you always have no police presence, you can have a drug transaction right there at 12 noon and nobody reported. But when Obama came through a couple of weeks ago, there were more police officers than you can count on one hand, and nobody thought that was wrong. When there were people being raped on 52nd Street, there were no cops there, and I get a little passionate about this, but then we have a presidential nominee come through, all of a sudden there are 1,000,001 cops. Why? Because there were going to be cameras there, and we have to put our best face forward.